45 seconds of noiseless credits that do nothing for my phantom boner that's eagerly awaiting to crash a chandelier, if you know what I mean. Photograph turns into a sepia-toned moving scene at the beginning of a movie cliché. Geezer stare-downs. Also, holy shit, this is a worse old man makeup job than Guy Pearce in Prometheus.
Some of you may recall the strange affair of the Phantom of the Opera.
Strange affair? It was less than 50 years ago and several people died. Hell, there was a big old mob assembled in the middle of fucking Paris to take that mean bastard out. This is like me not remembering the scourge of disco, even though that was less than 50 years ago.
Perhaps we can frighten away the ghost of so many years ago with a little illumination.
Scene inadvertently inspires a studio to greenlight an entire movie about those little minion f***ers. Also, they're selling this chandelier? Who the is gonna buy that? I know a lot of these folks are rich and have big homes, but big enough for a goddamn opera house chandelier? They might as well sell the entire stage while they're at it. As the iconic opening of the Phantom score kicks in, I can't help but think about how fucking dated that synthesizer intro sounds. It's like a flock of seagulls decided to get super dramatic on one of their later albums. We now take you to actual footage of movie theaters reopening after months of lockdown. Paris really tried everything to try and get adolescent boys to go to the opera. These wigs, which appear to have an albino rodent gripping onto the front. How many times do you think old man Grumblesticks has been kicked in the head by chuckle f***s like this? He's trying to sweep. Everybody get out of his way so he can sweep. Dude, you seriously need the people? Have you been backstage at a production like this? Between the quick costume changes and the amount of shit people have to keep track of, there's nudity everywhere. Not to mention he's way late for this peeping bullshit since all the ladies are already dressed. What are they bugged by here? This is a goddamn opera house. And even if Carlotta's personally hard to deal with, she's an excellent soprano. Save your insults for after the aria, you wankers. This opera is sung in English, and everyone knows there's never been an English language opera. I've never owned a stable in the late 1800s, so I can't be certain, but these chickens really shouldn't be lingering around willy-nilly. You are chickens. Go to the farm and get out of the path of incoming tramples each time a horse arrives. Unless this dude is going to start singing about fava beans and Chianti, this is the weirdest version of Hannibal I've seen yet.
The Vicomte de Chagny.
Why are they introducing the new owners and patron to the cast of the opera, especially after interrupting them mid-rehearsal? Sure, some of these assholes are part of the company, but for a big production like this, it's bound to be mostly extras and freelancers. Do they really need to know the administrative team behind the scenes of the business?
I guess you could say we were childhood sweethearts.
Aww.
He called me Little Lottie.
Also, in reality, Patrick Wilson is about 13 years older than Emmy Rossum, and their characters here sure do look like they have a similar age gap. So the idea of them being childhood sweethearts turns the stomach more than the Phantom's mild facial disfigurement.
Love me. Love me.
God damn it, Minnie Driver is hilarious in this movie, and this sin is for her being relegated to the memorable but underwritten girlfriend role for much of her early career.
And I ate my yacht!
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
He's here, the Phantom of the Opera.
Roll over dramatic credits.
God's my judge, I wasn't at my post.
See, I was slacking off on my job instead of actively trying to murder the prima donna. Obviously, I'm still employed here, right? Male nipple pasties.
Monsieur Lefebvre used to give him 20,000 francs a month.
20,000 francs!
When you do the math, this comes out to roughly $900,000 by today's standards. And honestly, that is far too much.
Let us sing for you, monsieur.
We know that Christine is talented, but shouldn't the managers be still pursuing their lead performer? I don't care if she's histrionic. She was literally almost killed a few minutes ago and rightfully stormed off when the guy said it was no big deal. Basically, this is a long way of saying this works. Christine sings Think of Me here, and it's clear that she's got a delightful voice. Very beautiful, ethereal, and pure. But one thing it ain't is traditionally f***ing operatic. Jesus Christ, this whole Christine is better than Carlotta bullshit is the most infuriating part of this f***ing movie. Holy but Jesus, that escalated quickly. Did they not even try to get Carlotta back for the opening gala performance? Sure, this dude gets an instant infatuation with Christine, but he's also impressed with her performance. So why did he get up and bounce during the middle of the f***ing song? You spelled Harry Styles wrong. Oh, sure, she just performed the lead role in a huge production in the Paris Opera House, and everyone f***ing celebrated. But Christine is up at an empty chapel in full costume minutes after the curtain call. Seriously, no one accosted her backstage to offer an extended congratulations. Meg asks who Christine's teacher is just now? She knows she's been getting lessons since she was a kid, and she's clearly Christine's best friend in the company. So how has she not gotten this information before this point? Not like Christine is holding back. She immediately tells Meg the truth.
Do you think the spirit of your father's coaching you? Who else, Meg?
On the scale of possibilities of who may be training Christine to sing, the spectrum starts with Angel on one side and ends with a disfigured, horny angel that's desperately trying to hide a Scottish accent, grooming a child to become his songbird bride someday. And honestly, this plot can go itself.
You did very well, my dear.
Thankfully, Christine received some positive feedback from Madame Giry here, since there's no way those thousands of rose bouquets would have gotten the message across.
Raoul, no.
You must change. I'll order my carriage.
Not taking no for an answer. There were literally dozens of people gathered outside Christine's door a moment ago, but suddenly they are either all gone or conveniently blind to the figure locking the door from the outside. Also, let's not forget that this horrible woman has been watching the Phantom obsess over Christine all her life, and casually turns her eye when she's locked away and stalked throughout this story. Jesus, how many peeping opportunities are there in this opera house? Okay, sure. Maybe Christine is so entranced by the sudden appearance of her stalker that she straight up doesn't see the room filling with psychedelically laced smoke. But how is she going to ignore walking through a goddamn mirror? Also, the Phantom has been her teacher since she was a little tyke, so why does he just now appear to Christine? Is it because she finally starred in a show? If that's the case, the Phantom is just as much of a star as Ali Larter's character in Varsity Blues, where she dumped Lance after he got hurt and Mox took over as QB. I have so many questions right now. Is Christine actually drugged and hallucinating all this sequence? Is this horse also in her imagination? Is she actually riding the Phantom right now? If the horse is real, does it live under the opera house? Also, why would anyone need a horse to walk down a goddamn ramp? It's cool to have your own gondola and everything, but isn't this the Parisian sewer? Even if it's just a storm drain, this place has to smell like absolute Who sculpted and carved out this underground lair? Phantom fans will tell you that Eric did it when he was a construction worker or some but in this movie, he's brought here when he was a kid, so all of this existed before him. Who's it for? More like the pouting of the opera, am I right? How'd that open up for him from this range? Does the Phantom have a garage door remote in his boat? Christine hits maybe the highest and most recognizable note in this entire goddamn musical. And the footage is the Phantom pulling the boat onto the dock? We don't even see her face during this super dramatic and show-stopping end of the song. Capes. Why is Christine still in the boat? She walked down the creepy hall with Geostorm, then got on the horse and into the boat. And now they're at the self-described kingdom of music and so why wouldn't she get out and have a look around? What's up with this guy? Is Phantom modeling new looks to hide his disfigurement? If so, why wouldn't the swarthy eye patch be on the right side of the head's face? At what point did Christine get her smoky eye on? Did they pause at a candle and pick up some soot? Is she evil now? Okay, look, Gerard Butler really does a passable performance as the Phantom in this movie. He's obviously not a classically trained singer, which is fine. But in order to hit a note like the climax of the music of the night, you gotta treat it more like a glorious destination. Instead, he throttles the out of that note so hard it sounds like he's wrestling a giant anaconda. The Phantom is singing about living in the darkness and living as you've never lived before. And while yes, he makes it sound really great, at some point Christine's gonna look around the water-filled little cave and wonder where she'll take a right? Is it in the water where she'll also bathe? Oh, he made an exact replica of Christine, which I'm sure is disturbingly anatomically correct. So lovely, so romantic, such stalky. I know Meg is concerned about her bestie, but she's really tracking down this darkened hall on her own without any light whatsoever, especially after seeing that there's a fucking one-way mirror in the dressing room. She woke up like this. Shameless is singing about her memories of last night, but she's also literally describing all the that's currently right in front of her. Hey, how does the mask stay on there? Does he have a special barrette in his hair that it attaches to? Was there a spirit gum involved? One of those command hooks situated behind his ear? I must know, Mr. P!
Come, we must return. Those two fools who run my theater will be missing you.
Oh, thank Glob. Now that the Phantom drugs have worn off, she can clearly see that the hallway looks very different and finally put to rest this whole he's an angel sent by my dead father bullshit. No? There are another 90 minutes remaining? This motherfucker's supposed to be mysterious and unknown, right? But he's written several letters over the last 2 days to the owners, Raoul, Madame Giry, and the Diva. He's like the dude who emails you, then 12 hours later goes, just wanted to make sure you got my previous message. We really should give some props to the Phantom for his talent. Fast forward 150 years, and this crazy cuckoo bananas level of creativity is a Twitch streamer's miniature painting fantasy.
Your public needs you.
We need you too.
Where was this fucking ass-kissing last night? Christine is back from being kidnapped, and she did perfectly well without Carlotta, so why aren't the owners continuing to pursue her as the lead? What about this owner of a scrap metal empire qualifies him to be tying Carlotta's corset right now? In fact, why are they in her dressing room at all? Oh, hi, Christine. Is anyone going to ask you about the horrible and traumatizing abduction that went down last night? Especially after you delivered a universally beloved performance? No? Honestly, I'm confused about whom I'm supposed to care for in this movie. Hang on. They're doing a completely different opera tonight? Right after they staged the Grand Hannibal performance just the night before? I'm sure the company is talented and but there's no way they have all the set design, music, and costumes set for this sudden change at the drop of a hat. Hell, the Phantom only ordered that they do this morning, so they had even less time to prepare.
Did I not instruct that Box 5 was to be kept empty?
Op blocking. Seriously, no one except the creepy stagehand goes after this asshole wearing a goddamn boat in your hair.
The role of the Countess will be played by Miss Daae.
You movie and therefore play. It's hard enough to believe they could pivot to the new opera in a day's time, but now Christine is going to play the lead with no notice. Look, I hate this pervy stagehand too, but what's the Phantom's beef with him? It's not like he appointed Carlotta to be the lead in this opera against his orders. Christine isn't wrong. The Phantom will find them, but aren't they just making it easier to be discovered as they sing their way to the roof? Ed Warren knows Christine was kidnapped last night, and he saw the Phantom come out during the performance tonight. So why does he still think the Phantom isn't real? At least in some capacity. If this dickhole were alive today, he'd definitely be a flat earther. Jesus Christ, did he have her microchipped or something? Can you imagine the last 24 hours for Christine? She's gone from an unknown chorus member to the lead role in a sold-out performance of Hannibal in the middle of Paris, and then was immediately kidnapped by who she thought was her mentor, but turned out to be a randy ghost man with a f***ed-up face. Then gets thrown back on stage to be yet another bit player in a new opera. Then is thrust into the lead role, only to see a dude get murdered. And then she gets seduced by her much older childhood sweetheart on a f***ing rooftop in the snow. Can't you let her have a smoke break at some point to let her process at least some of this shit? I know Christine's probably traumatized and sleep-deprived, but if you're Raoul, I'm going to say her request to love her every waking moment might be a red flag this early in the relationship. Dude, this All I Ask of You song is a lot creepier than I remember. This whole f***ing movie is creepy. The fact that they're pledging their everlasting love to each other after literally having a minute-long conversation over the past decade, much of which involved Raoul mansplaining, is as disturbing as whatever Phantom put in Carlotta's throat juice a few minutes ago. Snow-snogging. Snogging? So in the last performance, the lead soprano choked, the Phantom showed up to issue some vague threats, a stagehand died in full view of the patrons, and the opera was canceled in the middle of the song. Why are all these socialites flocking back to this place again? Do they think all that is going to happen again? Do they want it to happen again? This Masquerade number is pretty f***ing impressive, I'm not going to lie. But why is it being performed out in the lobby? Are the patrons in on the song? How do they block this while the regular customers are milling about? If either of these two want a secret engagement, is it wise to dangle a massive diamond ring on your naked décolletage, waltz into the dance floor, and then make out? Why the hell is everyone staring at Phantom? Sure, he dimmed the lights a bit and he's wearing red, but he's all the way over in the corner, so how did they know where to look? Also, everyone forgets that the Phantom is outnumbered 1,032 to 1 in this moment and could easily be overtaken. Sure, his singing is impressive, but he just murdered someone very recently. These dickheads right here. I bet the stage directions for this character began and ended with gaze and wonderment and look pretty.
You belong to me.
Misquoting Taylor Swift lyrics.
I was very young, studying to be a ballerina.
This sudden expositional narration is so conspicuously annoying, it might as well be blaring from a bar TV with the volume suddenly turned up. I'm sure people had different standards for entertainment back in the mid-1800s, but there's no way this entire crowd would be cackling their asses off at watching a kid get beaten by an asshole carny. I mean, a few of them would be, but only the French people.
He's a composer and a magician.
That might be the case, and Phantom may stop bullets, change Coke to Pepsi, found my f***ing car keys, and that doesn't matter because he literally killed a dude just a few weeks ago, and I kinda doubt that that was his first homicide. Hey, you know the best parts of this musical that you know by heart? The great songs and the lush spectacle? Yeah, all that shit's in the first act. The second act is a big old snooze fest with a side of narcolepsy and a dash of I haven't seen Joel Schumacher shoot this much statue porn since Batman and Robin. Look at this mausoleum. Her dad must have been rich, right? Why is Christine growing up like she has nothing? So the Phantom is now impersonating her dead father's spirit? That guy's a dick. Oh wow, it's Leonidas versus Night Owl, and I can't wait to see who wins the battle for Zack Snyder's ultimate affection. And now they plot to bar the doors during the Phantom's opera to capture him, and apparently they forgot that the Phantom recently opened a hole in the floor and knows about 39 more ways to sneak around than anyone else. The Phantom Home Alone 2's himself into the rafters, and I have to wonder why this shot is here when we've seen him do all his other supernatural shit in secret. We don't need to see how the Phantom sausage is made, especially this late into the movie. Does anyone think that Raoul is the greatest asshole in the history of all love stories? Here, the love of his life is expressing concern for being used as bait against a murderous madman, and he's all, hey, but remember, he's just some guy. Raoul implores Christine to go on with the plan by pointing out that while the Phantom lives, he will haunt us till he's dead. And I just want to point out that the Phantom survives and haunts them until she's dead anyway. So, hey, who does the Phantom's hair? That looks way too good to be self-administered, even with copious amounts of candles. Okay, the Phantom crashed the Masquerade party last night and gave the new opera to the managers. Then in the morning, Christine went to the cemetery where Raoul and the Phantom fought, and now it's almost definitely later that night, or the latest the next day. So my question is not only how the orchestra learned this so quickly, but also how the stage production came together. The transition from Hannibal to Il Muto was laughable enough, but this is a brand new opera. Oh, I get it. He's Batman. Everyone can tell this isn't the man who has been practicing and singing with them in rehearsal, so are they all waiting for them to before a live audience? It's not like rushing on stage and arresting the man is going to ruin their reputation. The audience witnessed a man hanged to death recently. Not so bad, honestly. Have you seen Lon Chaney's version of this character? Now that's scary. This guy is a little rough around the edges, but I would not say he's unfuckable. Why the is everyone freaking out, especially in the balcony? They can't even see what happened.
Come with me, monsieur. I will take you to him.
What exactly is Raoul's plan tonight? He wanted to set the Phantom up, but didn't do jack when he actually showed up on stage. And he got the lead tenor killed. This place is burning to the ground, and the mob chants, "Track down this murderer, he must be found," rather than grab your fire buddy and run to the nearest exit.
This is as far as I dare go.
Thank you.
Why didn't anyone else come with Raoul? There were a ton of policemen in the opera house, and many of them were backstage, so they weren't affected by the chandelier falling. Damn it, these Parisian police are as worthless as the Keystone Cops. I guess that advice to keep your hand at the level of your eye wasn't super helpful, considering Raoul triggers a textbook dungeon floor trap. Also, for all the hullabaloo over setting a trap for the Phantom, Raoul has a surprising lack of weaponry. He managed to find a sword at the Masquerade, but now, when they knew the Phantom would show up, he's fighting with love and song? I honestly can't remember if this water torture escape was in the stage version of the show, but I can assure you that it's completely misplaced and unnecessary in this one. So Phantom is angrily strangling Raoul right in front of Christine, and instead of helping or fighting back, everyone's goddamn singing. And there's no way that would happen in real life. Yeah, your first kiss could be a real letdown, man. I feel that. After who knows how many years of the Phantom's rule over the opera house, no one could find him. But in a few minutes, these rando stagehands have cracked the code! Kill the beast! Standing up while rowing in this tiny-ass boat. By my count, that's at least 95 years of even worse luck than he's had up until now. Sex dolls! Oh yay, this confirms that Christine was 16 this whole time. Great. Here you go, darling, I brought you a traumatizing memory. When you realize you brought a monkey to a diamond fight.
What's happening, hot stuff?
You don't get to come in here and pretend you can write, direct, and act in your own propaganda piece without coming through me first.
Do the CinemaSins guys secretly love movies? Shh! Have they had a podcast devoted to discussing movies called Cincast since 2015? Shh! Have they had a vast array of movie talks, deep dives, games, guest interviews, Q&A, and much more on the Cincast? Damn it, I said keep it down! Oh, screw it. The secret's out. Check out the Cincast every Monday and more wherever you do your podcasts. We have fun.
Well, here, $1.50. Anybody? 75 cents.
I bet 2 bets.
Sold the lady for 25 cents.
God? Hello? I don't really know how this works, or if you listen to prayers from donkeys.
No! Harry, no! Don't look at the light! I can't help it. It's so beautiful.
Why a cape? Who wears a cape? Where do you even get a cape?
Sometimes you have to slap them in the face just to get their attention.
Ben, did you see that?
See what?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
You're using Bonetti's defense against me, huh?
I thought it fitting, considering the rocky terrain.
Naturally. You must expect me to attack with Capafel.
3BO! Come in, 3BO! 3BO!